Welcome to Enlightened World Network. Dr. Ruth Anderson and Teri Angel here for a meditation a day. Today we are doing what we call meditation excavation, where Teri and I are going to meditate right here. We invite you to just meditate right along with us. And then we just share with you the messages that Spirit shares with us. And we never have any idea what direction these are going, and it's always kind of a fascinating journey. So we're glad that you're here. Teri, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ruth, and good morning. Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful day. Let's go into our heart and get in touch with some of that beauty. So just breathe right in. Breathe in slowly. Slow everything down. And exhale that breath out slowly. And as you do so, continue to just breathe in, relax. I'm going to call in our angelic team that supports us. First of all, I want to invoke the energy of Archangel Raphael. Raphael is our healing angel, coming in with the energy of air. So maybe a small breeze might kick up when Raphael enters the room. And then we call in Michael, our protector, our guardian. Michael coming in with the energy of fire, warming our hearts, warming the environment around us. And calling in now Archangel Gabriel. Gabriel comes in with the element of water and brings us clarity, messages, inspiration. And then next we go to Archangel Uriel, asking Uriel to bless us all with balance, with centering, helping us to ground into the earth energy. So just envision that you have roots that come from the bottom of your feet and see them digging deep into the earth, holding on, receiving nourishment, feeling more upright, more centered. And then we're going to call on our divine team. So we call in our Creator, we call in Christ, Divine Mother, asking the Holy Spirit to guide our every word, guide our thoughts as we come together in meditation, calling in all angels, the angelic realm, calling our loved ones in spirit, the ascended masters, and bringing all of this energy together in our hearts. Let's just see what Spirit wants us to look at today and what message is coming forth for us and for the world. And I already feel Divine Mother. She's been so present in our meditations lately and guiding us exactly where we need to be. So Ruth, I know you're probably feeling her strongly as well. She's holding you this morning. I just feel her with her arm around you and just nourishing you this morning.
Teri, that's so beautiful. Thank you. During the last 2 months, Divine Mother continues to show up, and she's been leading these messages. And recently, it all has to do with a water vessel, and it looks like a clay pot. And she's used these vessels to teach us lessons. And most recently, she gave us each our own water vessel. And there's a message again today about the water vessel. A couple days ago, the message was, you are the vessel. And that as we serve other people, we're also serving of ourselves. And this morning, the message was, as you serve others, know that you do this in love, out of love, for the world, for the Creator. Your vessel is yours. It is not for anyone else. It is how we nurture and replenish you. Call on us, rely on us. We are your partners in this thing you call life. So that's what I was hearing, Teri, as you were getting started.
Beautiful. Yeah, I felt like I was inside the vessel when I was calling in, especially calling in the divinity. I just felt cocooned and loved. There's just so much love flowing right now for us here on earth. And I think we're going through some turbulent times. And it's in those moments that we need that uplifting. We need to be held, just like a child, and be returned to our sense of safety and security.
Well, the thought too that light workers, those who are bringing divine light into the world, are not doing it on their own, and they're not doing it from their own store of resources. We're being replenished so we don't dry up and get depleted,
Mhm.
because it's not about us. It's about us bringing the divine light through the world. We're conduits.
Right. Mm.
Of course, this isn't just about us, it's about anyone who is bringing in divine light. I mean, these messages really are rarely just for us, they're much larger messages than that.
Yeah, I really felt like today, especially, we need to feel those loving arms around us. There's just an energy of being upside down, is what I felt like. Like, did the world just like flip overnight? But I know that that's an illusion too. And we look at things through different lenses, different perspectives. So I'm going to just flip right side up. I'm going to sit in my vessel and just be surrounded by divinity. And I feel like inside my vessel, I feel like there's a whole legion of angels sitting there with me and just helping me to get back to that sense of groundedness. I think the whole world right now could use a big, deep breath and get back to that sense of who we are. We're not shaken, we're not broken, we are whole. So let's focus on being whole and see what spirit can teach us through all of this, all the experiences that we're going through.
It's kind of funny, the image that they're showing me. You've seen it on film clips where someone is in a raging river or in the ocean and the water is just swelling all around them. And then there's the helicopter up above. And all eyes are on that helicopter as they send down the ladder. And what they're showing me is the more you concentrate on the water around you, the turmoil, the chaos, the confusion around you, the less your eye is on that helicopter ladder. And all eyes need to be on the helicopter ladder. We do talk about the law of attraction often. We don't typically call it that, but really that's what it is. But the more we focus on something, the more we see of that thing. And what we're being reminded to do is just keep our eye on the calm, on the creator, on the divine love, and that we'll be seeing more and more of that.
I love that. And I love that word focus. Sometimes when things are turbulent, when that water is raging, we don't feel safe and we feel scattered. But a friend of mine has an acronym for focus, and it's follow one course until successful. If we follow that one course, the course of peace in our lives, of expansion of our spirit being and the lessons that we're learning, then we're going to find success in connection with spirit more deeply. So follow one course until successful means bringing all the fragments of you back together. Because that's what it feels like sometimes. Like we've just been fragmented and our attention goes everywhere. But when we focus on what's important, and to me, the importance is walking this path in spirit, knowing that I'm guided, knowing that I'm not alone as I go through each moment of each day. So I think that for me right now, that's the whole essence of what this is about. Keeping the focus, keeping the eye on the prize, I guess you can say. And that prize is peace. Peace and contentment and joy.
And love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're going back to the ladder coming down off the helicopter. And what they're showing me is there's effort on our part because I don't know about those ladders. I on the helicopters, I don't know if they reel them back in or if you have to climb the ladder to get in. But there's effort there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Spirit can help us, but we also have free will and we have to be willing to reach our hand up as spirit reaches out to us. So that's the ladder. That's angels, divine, saying, hold on, I'm right here. Grab on and hold on. Keep on keeping on. And don't look down because I have an issue with heights. So I can see when I get on that ladder, I'm going to have to look up and not down. And it does move. The ladder's on the helicopter, from what I've seen. I haven't experienced it, but you can see that it's not like a ladder that's sitting sturdy somewhere. It's going to move, it's going to sway as we move. So just allowing that sway, allowing ourselves to be just held while we go through the turmoil and the swirl.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought, Teri, that sway time. Because as you're focused on holding on and maybe climbing up, you are in that sway.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes that sway is where the learning is.
It's where the trust is.
Right. And there's nothing wrong, nothing bad with being in this way. You know, we tend to put judgments on situations. There's no judgment about being in this way.
Because that's how life is. We don't just sit in a chair or on the sofa and experience life. We're in movement. So see yourself moving. And what direction are you moving in? Are you backing up? Or are you moving toward spirit and toward the light? And I just heard the person in the helicopter calling down and saying, "You've got this, you can do this." So even while we're in the midst of trying to hold on and getting our footing back again, Spirit's encouraging us every second that we're going through those sways, those turbulent times. We just have to be open to hearing that voice.
Well, I think sometimes we want to be floundering in the water. It's like, look at this. Everybody's floundering in the water. This stinks. Life is so hard. And the ladder's dangling right over our head. So I think
Right.
we've got that option to suffer and be miserable or hang on. Focus, as you said.
Yeah. We have a friend who uses an acronym for that allowing, and it's accept, align, allow. And when we do that, when we fully go all in with not being rescued, but being drawn back into who we truly are, finding ourselves in that very core of our being, then we're going to go into the acceptance and allowing, just being in a good place where before we might have been swimming with sharks. So, not looking at it as a rescue, but as allowing spirit to help us get back to our true, authentic self, finding that balance and that calm.
Yeah, there's something about the term when you said it being rescued. To me, when you're rescued, someone is taking care of you and you're not participating.
Mm-hmm.
This is about fully participating in your life, making your own decisions,
Right.
choosing to step in your light being rather than choosing to stay in the chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't need to be rescued. One of my mentors says, "You are your own rescue." So don't think that there's somebody that's going to pull you out of the water. We don't need that kind of rescue. It's coming back to who we are. That's the rescue part. Coming back to balance, back to authenticity.
Although I would also say that those times of chaos are also part of your life path.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're here, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're here to have these experiences. If it was all just laying on the beach and that was it, we wouldn't learn. We wouldn't grow. And I know that it's when we're going through those heavy times, through those challenges, that we're experiencing the biggest growth spiritually and emotionally.
That gift of free will and what we choose to do with it.
It's a choice.
Absolutely.
We make choices every moment of our lives, whether we're aware that we are or not. We're making decisions. What are we going to eat? What are we going to do with our time? What do we believe? So those choices are there. And it's up to us what direction that we go in with them. I like the view, Ruth, from this ladder. So I'm holding on to it because, as I said, I don't do well with heights. But it was like I was holding on for dear life and just felt myself so tensed up. But then I looked at the view from up above, that bird's eye view, and saw the beauty of this world. So even when we're being drawn away from whatever the challenge is, when we're coming up out of that, we can look back at it. We can see the beauty of it. Where when we're in the midst of the swirl, we can't. It's a whole different perspective once we start looking around and really observing and observing ourselves. Be an observer of the path that you're on and see what that looks like from a higher perspective.
Two phrases just came to mind. One is rise above it, and the other is take the high road.
Yes.
It's interesting thinking about those metaphors for getting on the ladder.
Yeah. And let it be an adventure. The angels say that we take life so seriously. We just need to lighten up. We need to laugh and see the joy that can be there if we just relax a little bit. So I'm relaxing my hold on this ladder. I'm not letting go, but I don't have the death grip on it either. And it's so much more enjoyable when we do that. It feels like flying, floating through the air.
Well, you also have the option of climbing the ladder and getting in the pilot's seat.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite sayings is life is about options. And boy, is this meditation all about that.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Planes that have messages hanging off the back, like "Will you marry me?" or
Banners. Mm-hmm.
banners. You're right. This plane has a banner on the back, and it just says "Free Will."
Ooh, I like that. So I'm going to exercise my option of being at the top of the ladder and stepping into that vessel that's came to show the way up and not staying in the swirl. And I hear welcome home,
Mhm.
welcome home to our heart. And I think it was Ram Dass that said, we're all walking each other home. And home is that place where we know who we are. We know that we're spirit. We know that this is just a temporary experience that we're having here. So as I climb into that vehicle that put the ladder down for me. I'm just relaxing back in that seat, just being grateful for the experience.
Well, and look who else is on the plane, Teri. Like who's flying and who's sitting there greeting you.
Mm-hmm. Definitely Jesus.
I see Divine Mother, I see Archangel Michael, I see the different guides.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all beaming because we made a choice. We could have kept hanging on to the ladder, thinking we were being rescued. Or we can say, climbing up, 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 and reaching that higher dimension. Mm.
So here's an interesting thought that just came in. When you are actively supporting somebody else, are you just joining them in their rolling chaotic water, or are you actually on the ladder helping them find the ladder?
Maybe pointing it out.
Right. It goes back to the beginning of the meditation, which was about serving. Like, how do you serve others? Well, if you're serving them in your mind by just getting in the chaos with them, there may be better ways to help serve them.
Mm-hmm. And Ruth, I'm reminded of a game that we play called Transformation. And one of the parts of that, when we get to it, is how may I serve you? So sometimes we might think we know what other people need, but if we just listen, observe and listen and ask, how may I serve you? Not how can I help you, but how can I be the best friend? How can I be the best supporter of you in your journey? How can I be there fully for you? And that is service. That is love.
Here's an interesting thought on that. Not my thought, which is part of why I love doing what we're doing right now. There are times when you do need to get into the water with someone. You can't always just be on high saying, look, you can do better. But sometimes you do need to get into the water and you can just hold that person in your mind's eye as getting closer and closer to the ladder without actually saying, look, save yourself. There's the ladder, get on it. Because sometimes somebody is so ill or so wrapped up in things that they just can't see it. And if you just come in and say, look, save yourself, that can feel like you're judging them or not meeting them where they are. So
Right.
sometimes we have to do that in spirit form, is to love someone and show them the light, show them the ladder in spirit form rather than proselytizing it to them.
Yeah. Mm. And just accepting if somebody doesn't reach out for the ladder. because there are going to be those that, for whatever reason, don't want to or unable to reach out for their best and highest good. They remain in this world, they remain caught up in the fire of the experience. So our part is not to, like Ruth said, not to judge, but just to support, to be there and hold their hand through whatever they're going through. And that can be hard. It can be hard when you watch somebody do the same thing over and over again, expecting that it's going to be different the next time. And sometimes we can see that, we can see beyond what they can see, but it's not our job to rescue. It's not our job to say, you have to do this. Just to be there and support and love them through it.
So they just reminded me about prayer. And they said, prayer, you can be asking for the ladder to be closer or for the ladder to be more visible, that they might be able to see the ladder.
Mm.
But getting on the ladder has to be somebody's choice. You cannot make that choice for anybody else. You can support someone while they're on the ladder. You can help hold them on the ladder, but you can't make them get on the ladder. And I think that's what's so frustrating. Sometimes when you love someone so dearly and they keep getting back into the drugs, getting back into the alcohol, getting back into the abusive relationship, you cannot make someone stay on the ladder.
Right. Yeah, and the angels have shared with me that the best thing that we can do in those instances is to just relax into it and keep our vibration high. No matter what's going on with anyone around us, keep our vibration at a high frequency, because that does affect others and they'll feel that. It's like when we're with an animal, they feel our frequency. So if we're calm, if we're vibrating at a high frequency, a high resonance, the animal feels that and they feel safer because we're in a place that's solid. So when you're watching somebody go through their trials, don't get down there and wallow in that energy. Keep your vibration high. Shine your light. That's what's needed. It's just to keep showing that light of love. And that's what it is. Our divine light is love, because that's our pure essence. Be the guidepost.
They're also showing me that sometimes we can be in each other's plane as one of their support folks.
Mm-hmm.
We're not driving their plane, but we can be there to support.
Right.
That's so funny. I'm hearing a plane flying overhead outside.
What a beautiful meditation and beautiful message. Guess we needed that little bit of inspiration today. Hold on to the ladder.
Well, and how are you serving others? That's such a great insight.
Yeah. And not imposing what you want for them, but serving them by saying, how can I serve you? And letting them decide.
Right. You very
That's
well.
the whole idea. It's like, how can I serve you? Not, I'm going to serve you. But how? What is it that you would like to see from me in your life?
Yeah.
I love that whole concept.
Very,
Being of service.
very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Divine Mother and Archangel Michael and Jesus and everybody else that showed up on this one. Yeah, very cool.
Beautiful.
All right, friends. Well, thank you for being here at Enlightened World Network. I love the Sundays and Wednesdays because the messages just keep coming in and they're always challenging what we think. And I so appreciate that. So, Teri, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ruth, and thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day.